How would you like to find everything that you need to know about 2D animation at the press of a button on your tablet or phone? Tony White's new app, Drawtastic, supports and teaches the past, present, and future of all things animated. So please help Tony build his unique animation app by supporting our exciting crowdfunder, Drawtastic. Everything you could ever want to know about 2D animation at your fingertips. Hey, this is Tony Ross for the 2D Animation Virtual Summit. We're in our 5th year of running the summit, and this year the summit is going to be from October 16th to the 20th. You can sign up for the summit at signup.animationsummit.net. This event is totally free. However, I do need your help with something. This year, to help with the cost of running the summit, we're selling some merchandise from t-shirts to mugs and a couple of other items. If you can get one of these, that would really help to fund the summit. It's not mandatory, but it does help. Now, if t-shirts or mugs aren't in your budget, no worries. You can also help by sharing links to sign up for the summit. So check out our summit merchandise at shop.animationsummit.net. We have some simple summit t-shirts and mugs, as well as some naughty and humorous ones. Thanks again, and I hope to see you at the summit. All right, everyone, welcome back and to part 2 of day 3 of the 2D Animation Virtual Summit. I was chatting with a colleague of mine, and so Stylus Rumble, Tracy Strong, I saw a piece that she did the other day, and I'm probably I don't know if I'm gonna mess with this today, but she did this really cool sketch, and I was like, can I please animate or draw and animate those? So it looked pretty awesome. And by the way, if you have not actually found her on YouTube, Stylus Rumble, I don't know if she's done some pretty awesome things. I know for a fact she did an awesome tutorial on animating wheels, which I've got to go back and study. So when I'm working on this, also years ago, we actually did a thing of a joint webinar of playing and drawing out smoke, because she was showing all the different things. I have hacks, and then she was like, oh, by the way, this is how I do it. I'm like, oh, okay, definitely mine is a hack compared to yours. Anyway, definitely check her out, follow her on Twitter. But I am probably going to grab maybe the little middle guy and start playing around and animating that. Don't know if I'll do it today, but anyway, I'm rambling. Next up is my good friend, Mr. DeMarcus Hill. We've known each other for a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up that video. And he is, again, an outstanding voice actor. And he's got all these crazy voices that he can do. So anyway, gonna bring that in. One other thing I'm sorry about that. Let me make sure everything is on the screen correctly. There's no prize for it or anything, but I'd be curious to see if anyone can kind of keep track of exactly how many voices he actually ends up doing in this thing here. Hey, this is Tony Ross with the 2D Animation Virtual Summit, and I'm hanging out with my good friend and colleague, Mr. DeMarcus Hill, man of 1,000 voices. What's going on, DeMarcus?
Greetings. What's happening? How are you?
Awesome,
Just laying back, chilling there, you know.
What's going on? We were just joking before I hit record the fact that I had to get into my summit voice because it's not my normal speaking voice. So it's like,
Can't even recognize you.
it's like
It's almost like you're schizophrenia or something. I'm sorry.
No worries. Lamont Lamont, Mr. Logan Russ, was joking about when I go from talking normal and then I'll go into my tutorial voice, which is a totally different voice. So I'm like,
it's funny, yeah. It's funny. It contrasts. It's it's like your regular voice. You wouldn't even be able to get a cab. I need a cab. And then your summit voice is like, "Hello, how are you? Yes, yes. I have violins and stuff in the background. I don't know." Yes, how are you? Yes. Good evening and welcome to Tony's Corner. On this episode we'll have Roger P. Funkel. He will be discussing his biopic and upcoming projects with the Philharmonic. Greetings. You'll enjoy it. Sorry, I got carried away.
Yeah, no, it's all of why you're here. No, I met DeMarcus. Good Lord, we met years and years ago.
Yeah,
and I remember hanging out, and I was hanging over at my friend, my friends Carl and Stephanie Peoples. So we're hanging over there. And DeMarcus was there, and I was talking about working on cartoons and stuff like that, and some animated stuff. And DeMarcus was at the table and he goes like, "Oh man, you do cartoons? I do voices." And because I'm me, I kind of did. I said, "Are you any good?" And you spat out. I forgot you did like 3 or 4 voices back to back, and I'm like, "Damn, okay," because it was just like. Is one of those things where people go, "I'm in a band," and you're like, "Yeah, whatever. Everybody and their mama got a band," and then you hear them like, "Oh, you're in a band." But yeah, man, I've worked with you on a lot of different projects, like working with either just me or working with me and Chris Cartledge.
Wow!
But the idea of when I do have other dudes go, "Hey man, Tony, if you need any voices?" I'm like, "I'm covered. If you know a female version of DeMarcus Hill, let me know." I'm like, it's like the funniest thing for me is like we'd be working on a project and I'd be like, "Yeah, can you do the voice where you did the thing?" And you're like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I'd have to go through a recording and pull it up and go, "Play here, this one, do that voice." So
wow.
But yeah, I am a fan of your talent, sir.
Thank you.
So yeah, just give me a little bit about stuff. I know the Marcus has done a lot of independent stuff. I know he's done a lot of projects for myself, but I wanted to bring him on the show because I was like, let me talk to him for a minute. And one, because I know it's going to be hilarious, and two, I got to bug you anyway because I was chatting with someone you'll meet eventually, Kira Kapetsky, I believe. We're going to be probably doing some stuff where I'm definitely going to be using your talents. Anyway,
okay.
That. So let me ask you, sir, Mr. 1001 Voices, my Mel Blanc here. Curious, what or who is your favorite voice artist? Who do you hear and you're thinking like, "Oh, damn, that's that," or who's your favorite voice actor? Who do you hear and you're just like, "Oh man, that was tight as hell. Let me get on that level."
Man, to Phil Lamar.
Okay.
And Mel Blanc.
Okay.
Phil Lamar, because I mean his range is just sick. And you can really tell where like he gets into I can imagine like hearing his voice, and I can like imagine him like assuming the posture of the character that he's voicing at that time.
Yeah.
That's how much it feels like he gets into the voice. And with Mel Blanc, I mean, when you say that, I mean that's like power comes from that word, man. That name.
Yeah.
It's like Mel Blanc. Boom. I mean everything from Daffy Duck to Marvin Martian. I mean, it's just, and he's got some uncredited work out there too. That would blow your mind if you found out it was him. But at the same time too, his stuff is so distinct that it's him. That's
I'll
the
tell you
other
the
thing that who?
I said I'll tell you the thing that blew me away about Mel Blanc, and I saw this as a kid, and I'm
Uh-huh.
still shocked about it. I knew he did all the Warner Brothers stuff. I knew that he was behind all like the Bugs Bunny and also I knew that for a fact. And
Mm-hmm.
or showing he was being interviewed on one of these one of the kid shows I was watching, and it said, "Did you do another voice in the?" And then he goes, "Oh, do you mean of?" And he starts speaking like Barney Rubble. I was like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah.
And the fact
Yeah.
I was like, man, because I remember like hearing Barney coming out of like, okay, yeah, I know you do Bugs and Daffy because they all kind of. It's not that they sound alike, but it's like they belong to that universe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
That
when he
that
did Barney Rubble, I was like, what, dude, what? I was like,
yeah.
are you kidding me? So yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of like,
It's almost like they got like there's a certain timbre
yeah,
or a timbre to each production house. You know what I'm saying?
yes, I
Yeah,
can
it's
that.
funny. It's funny.
I
Because he is just it just flows out when you see him do it and it just comes out. It's like, man, just effortless. I mean,
yeah. There's
Mel was just awesome.
now my favorite Phil Lamar voice probably is Green Lantern. That thing has so much like register like and I'm sure with age filled out a little bit more. But when I think of Phil Lamar, I don't think of Green Lantern's voice coming out of dude. I'm like, well, dude, where are you pulling that from your
Yeah,
nose? Like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like
Because
that. Yeah.
he's a slim cat. But I'm gonna tell you, man. If you look at it, for me, in my opinion, the most impressive characters that he did to me were, yeah, Jon Stewart was tight, but Samurai Jack, and then on the other hemisphere, for me, Static, because I mean he's doing this like this spry teenager, and then he's doing this samurai warrior. All right, so with one, his voice is all over the place because he gets excited, he gets depressed, he gets angry. With Samurai Jack, it's like it must be monotone, all on one level. I was like, oh, this is so cool, but still convey emotion. You know,
Cool. I see you on that one.
Tony, you're not about to throw a draw four, are you?
Probably. Like, hold up. Wait a minute, wait a minute.
We still gonna be friends after this, right?
Oh man, Uno just came out with a new deck, right?
I
Yeah,
heard about that.
yes.
I heard about that, man. There's some cops are gonna be called over that game, man.
That's gonna be trifling. That's what that's gonna be. That's gonna be trifling.
How dare you draw 10 on me? That's gonna be sick, dude. Man, when it comes to stuff like that, it's like you have to like probably sign some type of documentation saying like at the end of the game things will go back to normal. We gonna still be cool after this, right? I can still get a ride home.
But I've had some I've known friends like back in the day they would play they'd be playing poker, but they have like there was like quarters, like they throw all these like chump change. We were kids at the time, but I remember at one point, this young lady named Adrian, I think they were sitting there and somebody threw this hand down, and she was sitting there staring at him, holding a glass in her hand, and then all of a sudden the glass just shattered. Just she just staring like that mad,
Really?
and I'm like I don't think you got a poker face there.
Really? Oh man, I wouldn't even want to play with her.
Next game.
Serious. Just go out to your car and your tires are all flat. What the devil? This ain't nothing but Satan right there. Done flatten my tires.
So let me ask you this next question. When did you start even messing with voices? Is this thing something you've always done, or is it just kind of just came about, or?
Sadly, I grew up in the projects of Capitol Homes. I was a latchkey kid, and I watched a lot of television. It was the babysitter. So with me watching a lot of television, I picked up a few tricks and things, being able to imitate and throw back, as these children say nowadays, what I heard. So I mean, it was like I watched a lot of cartoons basically, and it was like I had action figures, and I would try to act out the scene, and I wanted it to be just like the episode. I wanted to have that cartoon experience. So I would do the voices of each of the characters, and well, to the best of my abilities, because some of them you just can't touch. But that's where it started from there, and then I guess just having no self-respect and and not giving a doggone about cool points. I was just silly enough to to do that. I mean, I had always been doing it. Just imitating Daffy Duck and Bugs Bunny Duck. It just went from there, and Marvin Martian, hello, Earth creature. Just being able to do that in class and have people laugh, or Scoob, just Shaggy, and it's like, okay, do this one, and do this one, and then it went from there to just coming up with voices on my own, and and I used to watch a lot of Doctor Who growing up.
Okay.
And I loved the accents. Hello, I'm the doctor. Oh, it's grandfather. And it just destroy. It was like, oh man, I got to do that. And then you go into Kung Fu Gold Theater. I don't know if you guys remember that, but that was on channel 69. It was on Saturday nights,
Okay.
and I would watch the shows, and it was like, Master Wong, how are you doing? My kung fu is better than yours. And then, so I didn't realize at the time that stuff was overdubbed by Brits. I just thought my kung fu is better than yours. Ah, Master Chi. So I got into that, and then just that's it, man. Just been doing it ever since, man. Just not really taking myself too serious, and just letting go when I get the opportunity, or if I'm in the car by myself, or if I'm just encountering somebody that feels ill at ease. You just the best way to distract a person from their problems is by having them question your sanity.
Love it.
That's the best thing. If you want to get somebody out of their funk,
yeah,
just do that. So that's what I do, man. Been doing it ever since, and I mean, just with the opportunities you've given me, I really thought I was just that crazy weird dude,
right.
That could do voices, because people like me are a dime a dozen. That's the way I feel about it. But just really just from you and from just other people, man, just the input. It's been an eye opener, but I've been dabbling in it ever since I was little.
Cool. I'll tell you what. Here's the thing I brag on about you, and I'm going to see. I'm going to see. I didn't tell you this ahead of time, um, but we're working on a project, uh, and we. I was trying to record the behind. I like to do all the behind the scenes stuff. So it's like,
Mhm.
and so the camera was rolling, and I said, I feel like being rude, and I said, uh, give me Keanu Reeves meets Michael J. Fox, make him 16 years old. And you spat the voice back. Can you do the voice? Do you remember me saying? It's like
Well, I don't know. Would it be this one?
it
Would it
was
be
that one
this one?
without the twang though. It was like, oh, you're like, whoa, like, yeah,
Whoa.
yeah,
Is
right,
it this one?
yeah.
Whoa.
I was
That's
like,
so cool. Ah.
it's like, but yeah, to be able to pull that off, and so I normally when I'm telling anyone else about you, I go, no, I said I got the guy for you, and because I even had I have that clip on YouTube, and I go, let me send you this clip real quick. Like this is who, and because because you had slipped from there because you'd kind of go. I said not too raspy, not too raspy, and then you went to Joan Rivers on me. I'm like, okay, cool.
Oh, yeah. It's over rasp, right? Oh, can we talk? Oh, oh. Did you see her at a seance? We don't really have to tell who that is. Well, everybody knows who that is. It's Joan Rivers, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, it's hot down here. I never should have said that about Michelle.
So I got what is it so of your projects, what has been your favorite or what was your I guess your I guess yeah, your favorite opportunity or your the best opportunity? What's
Simple
been
tech
the
guy.
huh?
Simple tech guy.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, yeah. That was my favorite.
All right.
Um,
Like there was a I think I caught the hiney.
I think I caught the Heine. Can you send some soup?
Love that.
I sound like a overly Jewish Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, I remember. I forgot Simple Tech Guy. It was like, yeah, that was awesome, man.
You know what? I'll tell you this. I took voice acting lessons. It was at this place called Yorax Studios, and one thing I think I was able to take away from just my experience with you to that, and then back again was the fact of not going into basically humility.
Okay.
And that goes back to this other incident. It was a teachable moment. I was not to take away from the focus of the show, but I've also had dealings in the music industry,
Mm-hmm.
and I was on tour with this with Heat Wave, right?
Yeah.
I was on tour with Heat Wave, and I had the opportunity to dance and sing, do background singing for them.
Cool.
And there was the first show, dude, Tony, we didn't even get a chance to rehearse together. No steps, no parts or nothing. Keith just gave me the songs and said, learn these parts right here, young blood. And I was like, well, okay. And the thing was, I was singing because it's an old school group. It's probably going to be in some hotel ballroom or something like that. Man, I get out of the limo. We're coming up to this stadium, and all I hear is, I'm like, oh my God. And that show was terrible, in my opinion. Now, I was telling my wife, I was telling her about it. She said, did anybody say you suck? I was like, no, but there were some things I just could have did better.
Right.
And I went back to my room after the show thinking this guy's just going to give me a ticket and send me back to Georgie.
Right.
And no, he didn't. He didn't. I learned from him because there was another guy that he had got to work with him at the same time. This guy was a diva. and he was going around sowing dissension amongst other bands on the tour,
Oh wow.
and he was talking about Keith behind his back and everything. But the guy had a voice like butter. It was like honey. He told me, man, he said, it's not about your talent or how much talent you got. He said the reason why he liked working with me was because I was malleable. I was teachable.
Okay.
And the thing I learned, man, is that, from that, when you get blessed with the opportunity, yeah, you're good enough for it, but you're not too good for it. Basically, you go in, you take the instruction, because that's what you're there for. They're there for your talent, but your talent has to be malleable. If you can't be used, you can't be used.
Ooh.
So that's what I've learned. Take direction. That's the gist of what I'm saying. Oh, be open to direction, be open to input, and that'll keep you, keep the calls coming in. But if you think you're all that, you're not gonna get anywhere. So just be putty.
Not petty. Be
No,
putty.
not petty, but putty. Y'all don't hear me. I said.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, y'all don't hear me. Oh, I'm getting cold shivers. Oh, no, that's gas.
Y'all don't know what I'm talking about. Turn to your neighbor. Hey, be
Turn to your
putty.
neighbor. Especially people with the bad breath. With the bad breath. BREFF.
Quit being ignorant.
I can't. I bet if you did a DNA study, you'd find the ignorant gene in me.
Dude. Which is a good time to bring this up. I've got I've been meaning to do this forever. But bringing back my podcast, and so I got to have you back on there. And like I said, I've got to work on this other project. Because man, I the other thing I love about you, and I hate that I lost this damn thing. But you doing stuff just off the cuff is hilarious. When you did the thing of you had gave the you had this, you ate this, I forgot what it was, but you're talking about it. You did this voice, or you're talking about it. You had all these hallucinations that you're being chased by tall, skinny midgets.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, what?
Tall, skinny midgets.
It's like,
if that ain't an oxymoron, I don't know what it is.
I'm thinking, like, wait, what?
Yeah.
It's like, man, yeah, and I hate that I lost that audio, because it'll again, it's like, because you'll do this stuff and you're just like, yeah, it's just something I was thinking of, or you in this crazy voice, and I'm like, yeah, can you do that voice? I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, because you did this thing. I don't know what you're talking about. God dang it! gotta walk around you. DeMarcus has come over. Our cameras rolling. Do we have backup footage? Like, anything you say now will be held against you and be animated later.
I got to sign some kind of document saying everything you do will be material. Possible material, Mr. Hill. When you step foot in through this portal at this address.
We should do that. What's that?
And then it'll be, and then from there on, it'll be, come, children. Ice cream waits for no one.
What is that? We have to do the 11-second club. It'll be it'll like grab little clips, and we'll go, okay, we're gonna have a competition. Who's gonna do the best character for this? Oh shoot, that was the other thing. I forgot to do this major shout out. Because you helped us out on the project with that I did with Toon Boom, in doing the animation study. And learning how to use harmony. So we worked on C Note. And what I love about you is, I said, I think I want the voice to be kind of like this. And you said, well, no, I think, I was like, you looked at the character and said, no, he sounds like this. That's what he looks like. I'm going, bet that is his voice. God dang. So it's like, but yeah, I mean that was cool as hell. Just having that ability, and you're one of the like I said, when normally when I'm working with voice people, I will send them a scratch track of me reading the script. Especially if I wrote it, I'll send them a scratch track, and then I'll say, kick me back a recording. I need two of the way that I did it. Then give me a third one of your ideas. 9 times out of 10, I'm probably landing with where you went with it. Um, and it's like pretty cool. Like I know the project that's been on my back burner since, well, shoot, it's 10 years now. I still want to go back and do Black Blood White. I really,
Is
really.
this that project you had with the kid with the enchanted bat?
I don't think it was that one. I think this is the one where where it's the gangster one, but it's like I did what you told me to. It's like when they're in the alley at the very beginning, because it's like a really thin or thick and thin black lines, because it's called Black Blood White because it's all in
Oh my God,
yeah,
man,
you
that's
remember that. Okay, yeah. So
Tony.
I
Do you
still
know
want to
how
go back and
long ago that was?
I know I said it's been a minute. Um
That's about an hour there, partner.
about 2 hours. But yeah, that's a project I want to get, because what we were talking about where it's you and Susie Berta was, because Susie was doing the voices for some of the characters in there, and it was because you did the main voice of the kid at the little stoolie at the beginning, and then the run we haven't animated yet is the one where it's the uncle. It's like, it was supposed to be subtle. It's like, and she goes, I seldom settle for subtle. And you're like, you sold the man's head onto a pig. It's like,
Dude, so
yeah,
you animated some of that?
I didn't animate that scene yet. It's like, I gotta, like, we did the first episode, and this is the thing I got to tell everyone else. You have to be careful of. There's an experiment called the marshmallow experiment, where you'll understand where I'm going with this in a second, where they tell these little kids, here, this is one marshmallow, but if you wait and don't eat this marshmallow, I'll be back in 10 minutes. If you don't eat this one, I'm going to give you a second marshmallow. And so most of the kids, some of the kids, like, they barely got out the door. They would engulf that marshmallow. The other people would like kind of
Wow.
touch it or like, but they looked up these kids later. The kids that ate it instantly, they looked at where they were, like later in high school and stuff like that, versus the kids who waited. And it's not that instant gratification. So
Wow.
the idea was, what I was supposed to do with Black Blood
Yeah.
White was not to show anyone anything until I had 6 episodes done.
Wow.
And I released the teaser trying to get that dopamine hit, and there's not been anything animated since the teaser. People are like, oh man, that's good. I like that. Yeah, I want to see more. Yeah. We're going to, hey, dude, can you make some music to go with this? Shout out to Princess Brown. Yeah, man, make some music. And it's like, cool, got that going on. And yeah, I've had a couple of times where I thought, yeah, I want to redo this, but it's like, and now the cool part is, at least I know the software better. The software's also gotten stronger. And we've got plenty of, I think we still have some of the recordings. So we got to go back, and I definitely want to go back and work on that, because I think it's a really cool, the concept was cool. I understand, again, how to do the camera movements and stuff a lot better now, and lip sync, and even how to rig the characters. Anyway, I'm rambling. So, but yeah, I want to
It's your show.
I want to get back on that one. So, but yeah.
Dude, I look forward to that one. Dude, do you realize while you were at the opening, you were talking about how long we've been? It's been about 20 years, hasn't it?
Dang. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I guess it has been. It's been a minute.
2006, I think we met.
Okay.
2006 or 7. No, actually, a little
Wait a
bit.
minute. It would have been before then, because ACA was still open, because I remember you at least came to a couple of classes there.
Wow.
So yeah, ACA closed in like 2005. So yeah, man, somewhere. I don't even know if I was teaching. I might not have even been teaching uh adjunct yet. I was still doing continuing ed classes. So
Wait a minute. There's too many numbers. I'm starting to get a headache. But
no, it's been a minute. But yeah.
Oh Lord. Wow, dude.
Okay. We got to get on the phone. Meanwhile, y'all don't need to hear any of this anyway. So as I was saying, so this has been Tony Ross for the 2D Animation Virtual Summit, hanging out again with my pal, Mr. Demarcus Hill.
How are you? Yes, I'm here. You can't see me though, so I may not be here. This is going to be a recording. Yes.
Say bye, Demarcus.
Say who?
Say bye, Demarcus.
Bye, Demarcus.
All right, have a good one. Hey everyone, this is Tony Ross for the 2D Animation Virtual Summit, and I am blessed, honored, and quite frankly, a little bit giddy that I get to talk to our next guest again, Kira Kapetsky. How are you doing, Kira?
Hello. Oh, thank you so much. Thanks so much for having me on again. It's great to talk.
You'll get to introduce who you are momentarily, and I'm not trying to make you feel self-conscious about it, but your natural speaking voice, there's little hints and flavors to some of the voice stuff you do. So it's like, it is so cool listening to you talk. So it's like I can hear a little bit in there. Sorry.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome. So for those of you who don't know who Kira is, tell everyone who exactly you are, what it is you do, and why are you here?
Sure. So I am an animator at BuzzFeed Animation Lab, and I'm the showrunner and lead animator of the online series Chicken Nugget. And yeah, it's a little internet animated series about a little weird dog and his other fast food named friends. And I voiced the main character. And yeah, I'm here to talk about animation.
Loving it. I absolutely love watching Chicken Nugget. I don't know, it's one of those, like, having a rough day, let me go ahead and just dive into, like, kind of spiral into those for a minute. So that's kind of cool.
Thank you.
I actually, the question I did not send you, I'm curious on something. So do you have writers for that, or is that you and friends, or how does that work?
Yeah, so basically the floor is open for anyone on the Chicken Nugget team to write episode scripts. Like I always, let anybody do it. But yeah, most of the episodes are written by me, but there's 3 other animators on the team, and recently we just had a guest writer at BuzzFeed help us out. So yeah, lots of different scripts from different people, which is always really nice.
Very cool. So do you all have like a, hey, we don't make the episodes have to be this long, or they can't go over this amount, or how does that work?
Yeah. Yeah, like there's no like hard limit. It's mostly just like in the time frame. We're starting to do longer YouTube exclusive episodes, but in terms of episodes that are like just the average ones that we post on social media, usually try to keep them short, between at least 5 seconds to like a minute long. Nothing too crazy. I don't want to like overextend everybody.
Okay. Excellent. Well, I want to bug you with a couple of questions that I've asked all of our panelists this year.
Sure.
And some of them I purposely have asking some of the people have actually asked you all this before, but I'm curious as to how your answers change.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, my first question, what do you think is the biggest misconception people have about becoming an animator?
Oh, it's so hard. There's so many things. I'd say one that I run into a lot is I think uh, people don't understand sometimes that with animation, there are people that just do like rough animation on a project and cleanup teams that handle like the final ink and color version that you see on screen. So, yeah, sometimes I think, like there are, of course, like I think every animator, can finish their entire product. But yeah, you'd be surprised at how many times for shows and everything, kind of just have animators come in, do beautiful rough animation, and then a cleanup team who's very talented and like works so diligently will clean up the final product into what you see.
Okay. I can definitely see that. It's like when people are like, I want to get an animation. Well, what part? It's almost as bad as when people say, well, like, oh, I'm an effects animator, or I do, especially when you start mixing in hybrid, whether it's 2D and 3D, like I handle cloth, or I do this. And it's like, or I do rigging, or I do animating, or it's just, what is it? What is this question? I saw someone post the other day. Do I have to draw to be an animator? Like, well,
Yeah,
it
you honestly.
it's like it wouldn't hurt. It's like,
Yeah, no, like it's definitely recommended if you're able to draw, but like I've definitely met animators who do work in 2D, but they work with rigs. And they're still great animators, but yeah, like highly recommend the ability to draw. It's a huge bonus.
I can't remember who was telling me the story of the fact that they were at a lunch with someone and someone had asked something, so they pulled out a napkin and sketched out a quick idea, but they knew how to draw, so they didn't just have to like, try to explain it. They were able to actually sketch it out real quick and then solve the deal based on that. So
Oh, yes. That's awesome.
it's like it's one of those like, so whenever people hear people go, do I have to draw? Yeah, about that.
It's helpful.
All right. My next question. What genre of 2D animation do we need to see a lot more of?
Oh, that's also a hard question. I was thinking about it. I feel like it'd be really cool to see more horror, like genuine horror with 2D animation, because you can do so much with 2D animation. I've seen horror like indie shorts that are like very scary. And it would be so nice to see more like serious subject matters like that. Not saying that it has to be like gruesome or anything, but it'd be cool just to see like like a horror movie that you would see in live action, but in animation. I feel like there's a lot you can do with that and make it very scary.
I would agree. There is a you're saying that, and immediately coming to mind, there is a short that Adam Phillips did. Uh, Note to self. Hopefully, put up a link in a still from this. There's a short Adam Phillips did years ago. I want to say it's called Taken. I can't remember, but I remember teaching my class. Good grief! Yeah, this would have been probably over 10 years ago. But I was talking to my class one day, and I said, "Do you think you can do an actual 2D animated thing that's actually scary?" So I showed them the short, and I already knew what was about to happen. So I just kind of got to watch my class for an incredible jump scare of 2D.
Oh my God.
And it's like, it is so beautiful. It's like just that one thing. It's like, you ever see a short or you see something and you're thinking like, okay, when I do win the lottery, I have to pay this person to finish this as a full movie because it would be incredible. But yeah,
Oh man. Yeah. There's so many things I want, like as full movies or full shows.
yes, I'll have to send you that link though because it's like it was holy crap, it was awesome. Maybe I'll see if I can get
Oh,
permission to actually show it. But yeah, it's just to be able to pull off something where you're bothered. What is it? There was a movie called, it wasn't a horror movie, but it was an anime, Paprika.
oh
Uh,
yeah.
I saw that in the theaters when it came out, and my wife and I were like, we came out in the parking lot, just kind of staring off into reality, waiting for it to shift. Because I was like, it's so weird. But yeah,
I know. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I love movies like that. So fun to see.
Like with that little, what is the suspension of disbelief? Though, and using my art education for real, suspension of
Yeah.
disbelief when it just enough that's real, and then part of it's fake, and you're like, okay, now you messed up. So,
Yeah.
what is that? Speaking of, someone I just saw a report that scientists said they have figured out some things, and they'll be able to. How do they word this? Um, they're going to be able to uh, clone or bring about a dinosaur within the next 5 years. And someone was like, there's literally an entire franchise telling you not to do that. It's like, we not
There is.
like,
Oh my God.
it's like part of me is going, that'd be cool. And the other part of me is going, why?
I know. You're like, oh no, we've learned about this.
It's like crazy. Okay. Now, here's a tricky question. Because I had to reword this based on the current state of things. But
Mhm.
given the advances in the availability of software and technology, as well as the current state of our industry, there has never been a better time in the history of animation for 2D animators to put out their own products than there is right now. True or false, and why?
Ooh, so I am a big proponent of this because it's so crazy just from when I was a young kid, the lack of access to animation programs. But nowadays, like, oh my gosh, I see so many kids like on YouTube, like young kids making like really beautiful animations with like Flip Note on the DS. That was like a few years ago, but like uh, people just have access now. Procreate's coming out with a new animation program.
Yeah, I
People are
saw
doing stuff in Photoshop, Flash, all sorts of programs, and it's so cool. And you can actually like gain an audience on the internet, and you can get money to like make these products. So I think there's never been a better time for people to make their own stuff. It's always very difficult if you're trying to make your own like indie pilot series sort of thing because you do have to raise money unless you're doing it entirely by yourself. So the money thing is always very difficult. But I think that if you just want to make animation and gain an audience for it, it is absolutely doable.
very cool. I have been, I think that's been my wheelhouse. I think even as far back as, was it 2001 is when I was teaching college. And all of these students kept going, well, I want to work for this studio. I want to work for this studio. So yeah, that's great. They have two positions open. What are you going to do outside of that? So it's like, do your own
Yeah.
crap. It's like you can, I'm not telling you not to apply, but while you're applying, do your own thing. It's like, do what you like, put your own stuff out there. There's no one stopping you. But yeah, it's like you're saying technically there's no gatekeepers.
Yeah.
Around, it's like back in my day, when I was teaching, YouTube had just came out. And I'm telling my students, hey, you guys can put up your own stuff. You don't have to wait for anyone. And they looked at me like I had three heads, but I'm like, it's like, no, put stuff out. Just do your own thing. Oh, and I will piggyback on this. This is one of the reasons why um, not only Chicken Nugget, but also where I first ran across you is looking at the design of things like the Good Advice Cupcake, looking at the designs of the characters on Chicken Nugget. It's very simple. Now, don't get me wrong. If a rig of that can still be a little bit complex, depending on how it's put together. But one of the things I constantly tell people, they'll come up with this, I'm going to create Fantasia 2025 and I'm going to do it with two people. And I'm going, okay, so there's this whole series of stick characters that has 5 million followers. I'm not telling you not to do Fantasia, just do something simple to get an audience and money and then do the other thing. So,
Yeah, no, definitely. Like that was kind of something that we really had to think about also for Chicken Nugget or just, like a BuzzFeed animation in general is having very simple characters because like very cool to have like really beautiful detailed animation and stuff. But like like for my specific case, we have to put out like 3 episodes a week. So we really have to be quick and streamlined with things. But yeah, for like if you're starting out with animation, like you don't have to really, really pressure yourself with like the most gorgeous, fluid, hyper detailed thing. Like you can make something super simple and have it be very effective.
I'm loving that. And not only that, you've given me a goal now because I was trying to figure out um how, like years ago, I was like, okay, well, how could two people put together a 2 to 3 minute episode of something every week? But that would mean you'd have to like come up with really simple designs. There would be a lot of rules to follow. And I still want to do that. But I love the idea of doing 2 or 3 episodes that are like shorts. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's freaking brilliant.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's like it's definitely doable. I think like myself in college would have been like, oh God, we're making that many in the future. But once you like get into it, you're like, oh, it's actually pretty doable.
Cool, 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 cool. Trying to think. I am curious on what's going to be happening with Procreate Dreams. That's going to be like, where is that going to be? Where is it going to be going? That's you were mentioning that earlier. It's like, ugh.
I know. I'm really excited about it. Like, and it's pretty cheap too. Like I think it's just
Yeah.
like $20, which is
It's
crazy.
like $29, $20 or $29. And what's hilarious is there are still some people going, that's too expensive. We're like, okay. It's
Like
like,
you don't even know
you
there's
have
stuff out
no
there that's like
clue.
thousands.
It's like, I and again, it's like I got to get back in the classroom. It's like I think about when I was teaching, and it's still the case. Everyone is like always talking about pirated software and stuff, and I would go, all right, if you're pirating your software, you're not charging your clients enough. So it's like work that into your bill. Quit doing that.
Yeah.
That and what was it? Since now there are free things that are out there, like what's that thing? Besides, there's Blender, Grease Pencil, there's OpenTunes, Synfig. But yeah, there's a lot of, as you said, there's a lot of things that are changing. Hopefully, still, I'll eventually get to talk to someone from Procreate on this. But there was that they said the aspect ratio or the sizes you can do 1 million pixels by 1 million pixels, and I was like,
Whoa.
what? So
Wow.
I said, yeah, we currently have, with Procreate currently can go up to 16K. What? There's a 16K? I didn't know that. But they made Dreams that's supposed to be larger than that. I'm like, okay.
Oh, that's so cool. I can't wait.
I know, right? Okay. Now, this is a trick question, sort of. Because there's stuff that was one of those, there's stuff that I know, but I'm also curious if anyone else knows it. So, anyway, here's my last question. What's stopping animators and artists from creating their own employee-owned channel or streaming platform or platforms, if anything?
Ooh, so I don't honestly know that much about the logistics of creating your own streaming platform. I imagine that would be like an incredible task to be able to do that. I do know that there's websites that are like smaller streaming services that have like exclusive content on them. But in regards to making your own employee or owned like channel or studio, definitely doable. Like I know plenty of people who have their own studios that are just like uh they hire like freelance contract people to work on it. And obviously you have to go, you know, if you're like registered under, what is it, like an LLC or something, you need like proper paperwork and you got to do your taxes properly and get all that in order. So like if you're going for the big guns, you got to get all that in order. I have not done that myself, so I'm probably not the best person to advise on like how exactly you go about doing that. But I'd imagine you'd probably talk to like a lawyer or something. But no, super doable. Like if you want to make your own studio, if you have like the bandwidth and the budget for it, you can totally go for it. But again, like we were saying previously, it'd be good to have like an audience already. Like it'd be a little risky to start out the gate making a studio if you don't already have an audience excited about your product.
Right.
But yeah, no, like you could do anything, but it's always just wise to do your research and plan accordingly so it doesn't, fall apart and be a big mess.
Totally understood on that. Awesome. I'm going to throw you a question that I didn't send you.
Okay.
I'm curious. So you've worked in animated in Flashimate or Adobe Animate or Adobe Flash, however you want to call it. I'm curious, how have you, like, if you've tried to work in Harmony, what's the trickiest part about working in Harmony for you?
Ooh, honestly, I think this will ring true for a lot of other 2D animators, but rigging always seems scary. Like it seems so exciting, like being able to get it to work. But
Right.
when you're so used to just like drawing, the rigging aspect, you're like, oh God, how do I even begin to know how to do this?
I definitely could hear you on that one. The what is it? It's a thing. I'm going to do this while I'm actually here. How's your time, by the way?
Good.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a little trick here. La, 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 la. I am going to share my screen.
Mm-hmm.
I said I was not going to actually do this, but I'll tell you what I'm about to do in a second. Hold on. Hide floating things. Thank you. Great. Can you see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay. So I was joking with my friend and colleague, Lindsay Noller, because I saw her do a presentation and she was presenting and people were asking questions online and she was responding. And then it occurred to me, holy crap, you recorded your presentation. I need to do that more, not try to do something live. And so it's like, anyway, so this is impromptu, but I wanted to share this with you. This is a little hand rig. This is a modified version of something that is from pt2b, one of the lessons we teach. So we have several layers here. We have the upper arm, the lower arm, and then the hand. And the one thing that actually confuses people the most or scares people the most about this is, let me go, by the way, pt2b users, if you ever open this up and your colors aren't there, just click on one of the layers and they'll show up. Ooh. Okay. So what's scary about this most of the times is this little thing, the node view. But it's just a more efficient way of handling layers. Trust me when I tell you, I avoided using Harmony Premium for years because of the node view. But once I learned, it was just like, oh, okay. So the idea is I'm going to select all of these. There's no bounding box around any of these right now because we have it set up that the artwork cannot move, not on its own. And by doing this, again, it's a more efficient way that if you ever have to reset something, the drawings will go back to where they originally were. So we use something called pegs to control this. So when I add a peg to each one of these layers, so I do Command, Shift, and letter P. So everybody and their mama has a peg, and forearm, upper arm. And this is cool, but eventually I will also need not only something that can control the hand, but something that can control the forearm and the hand, and eventually something that can control the upper arm, the forearm, and the hand. So to do that, I'm going to grab, by the way, I don't teach this on day one. So, by the way, so I'll go to Command Shift P and do another set of pegs. These are called master pegs.
Ooh.
So here's the deal. This first one, if you look, there's this little dot. It's our little pivot point dead center here.
Mhm.
And by default, that's where all the pivot points are. Pivot points, anchor points. Nope, pivot points. My bad. Pivot points and anchor points. Anchor points in After Effects, because it starts with an A. Pivot points in Harmony. But it's basically if you had a sheet of paper and you put a thumbtack or a push pin in it, where does it rotate from?
Mhm.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the person who actually designed the drawings here. They gave me a little bit of help. Let me turn on my outlines because there's actually little circles where those need to go. So let me do this. Hand, yes. Come up here to my advanced animation tools and adjust where this pivot point is for the hand. Zooming in there. Now, the reason I did, by the way, wherever your cursor is and you zoom in with the scroll wheel, goes right to that section. Comes in handy. The reason I wanted to do both of these at the same time is these two should have the exact same pivot point. So I'll select both. And let's move you here. Excellent. All right, and we'll do the same thing on the last one, the upper arm. Both of those should have the same point. La, 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 la. Great. Nope. Almost. Does it have to be perfect? No. But all right. It was bugging me. All right. So now let's turn our colors back on. And this is our little hand. That's cool. And we need a peg that can control both the hand and the forearm. So we do this like that. So this or this. So let me do this, bend that. That's cool. Press B, come up here and bend that. Cool.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Now, lather, rinse, repeat. This little guy here, zoom out, dude. Not that high. I'm not labeling these right now, but technically you would do something like either forearm and call this, what is that? MP for master peg, or you could do forearm plus hand. Just a little information like that. And technically, this would be my arm master peg. So I'm going to call this the front arm. Sure. I know there's only one, but front arm. Thank you. MP. All right. So here's the deal. Let's come down here. If I press the letter what? Not letter, number. 0. Great. Collapse the entire layer. Get rid of that keyframe, F7. Thank you. So here's the deal. Let's drop in a keyframe, F6. Same thing in Flash, by the way. And let's do another pose. On frame 2, let's drop in a keyframe, F6. Let's rotate this back a bit. And here's the cool part. If I select the hand, whoops, wait a minute. That's showing my artwork. By the way, how do I even know that? Because it's fuchsia. Yellow is a peg. So let me try that again. I had to turn on peg selection only. Okay, that's better. So what I'll do here is I have the hand selected. I'm going to rotate that back a bit. Press B, goes up the hierarchy. Rotate it a little more. Break the joint a bit. Press B again. Let's pull you back. So that's there to there. Great. Now, third frame. Let's do F6, drop in a keyframe. I'm going to pull this way up. Shift B, come down the hierarchy. Bend our arm, Shift B again. Pull that down. Awesome. Last but not least, one last one. We're going to do this little guy as if he's pointing. Shift B, pull your arm out. Shift B again. Got straight. B goes up the hierarchy. Great. Now, mind you, the cool thing about this is once I set up that node view, I haven't really touched the node view. So just use little shortcuts. Now let's go ahead and spread these little guys out. I want to say, technically I could do this really easy. Select the first keyframe on my keyboard, press the plus key. Let's do 1, 2, 3. So, okay, that's cool.
Oh, awesome.
Let's do 5 on this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, and we'll do 1, 2, 3. I think I'll do 3. How fast is this? A little bit too fast. 1, 2. Get a little more. 1, 2. And 1, 2, 3.
Oh, it's so cool.
All right. Now, the sad part is, I think that last little one is too many. So instead of plus, select the keyframe, press minus. Okay. And where's my little loop? Start, stop. Kind of like a work area if you ever worked in After Effects.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Now that's too little. Damn it. Okay, there it is. All right, let me at least give you 40. Okay, that's cool. So let's ask you a question. If you were going to point your hand, this hand is going to point, where do you think you would start? You'd switch over to pointing your finger up, like here, here. Do you follow what I'm asking?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe up there.
Right there?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So about this hand, pressing B goes up the hierarchy, right? Shift B down the hierarchy. Remember, these are pegs. I can still come in and do Shift B, and it'll get to my artwork. Cool thing about the artwork is, show you this here. It's kind of cool. I don't use this that often. Drawing substitution. You mean this guy? There.
Ooh.
So it's not a keyframe, by the way. It's just a sub.
Mm-hmm.
It's before that. It was there, then goes there. All right, not bad,
Ooh.
but I do need to adjust this keyframe because that hand's doing a little bit too much MJ right there. Let's move up. Shift B, kind of straighten it out. Okay. Now, one thing I do want to do, I'm going to do an overshoot, little trick here. Let's copy this keyframe. All right, now that I've copied it, I'm going to stretch this guy out. One thing that a lot of vector animators don't do, they don't stretch or distort their work enough. It's like,
they should.
it's like it's not written in stone, people. Okay, so stretch that out a little bit. Let's do Shift B, break the joint, Shift B again, break the joint one more time. And now I'm going to click a couple frames later and paste the original one that I copied. So what we have is,
Yeah, perfect.
All right. Now, this is cool. And everyone's going, well, yeah, Tony, but this looks kind of, looks cut out because there's all these 3 separate pieces. All right, about that. Let's go. We baked our cake first. Now let's frost it. So we'll take a look at our artwork here. If I look at, for instance, the forearm, there are these little things on the side: overlay, line art, color art, and underlay. This is the camera view. If I go to the drawing view, hey, this is our forearm. Dude, where is the skin? This is like traditional animation. So there's line art on one part of the cell. You flip the cell over, color art is right here. Okay. So with this, we can do the following. I was telling this to Susanna earlier. Artwork is the main floor. Pegs, attic. We're going to work in the basement. Let's come up here. So I'm going to use a little trick here. Bring in a different node. This is I hear is a bird brain yelling at me about this. I'm going to use the auto patch. And auto patch, basically, I'm going to hold on my option key, pull this into the cable. what it does is it's showing just the color art, but not just the color art. It's using the line weight as the mask instead of going right to the edge of where, because these are strokes there instead of right going to the edge there. So it's like, hey, that's disappeared, but dude, the hand's still there, and where'd my line go? Okay. So in Harmony, everything toward the left is in front. So right now, auto patch is here. Let me take this cable and move it to the front. And suddenly, hey, that's kind of clean.
Yay.
All right. So that's the part there. What I also need to do is let's bring up line art. And it's almost like you're bringing another instance of something. So take the forearm, pull that cable there, put line art behind everyone else. Oh, cool.
Whoa, that's awesome.
And then people are like, yeah, Tony, but this is cool and all, but this looks very rubbery. I mean, if I were drawing it for real, I would have put in some creases there. That's why you can tell this is cut out. All right, so about that. Let's go back to forearm, go to drawing. All right, line art, color art, line art, color art. There are other layers. Overlay. That's a nice little taper there. So what do we do with that? Let's bring up another node. Overlay. Hello, sir. Great. And we'll pull another little guy from here and place overlay in front of everyone. And if you look, we now have a little crease.
Whoa, that's awesome. Oh my gosh.
Now I feel like being extra here because, okay, we go there. That's when it switches. So maybe right here. I think I'm going to switch the hand again. Let's go. By the way, I'm using brackets on my keyboard. This is why I never use the little thing. The right next to the P key, the open and close bracket, you can kind of cycle through the different drawings. So goes from there. Like, yeah. Great. So if we play this, come here, dude. But yeah, rigging. And to make our lives a little more neat, I would probably do something like, let me disconnect everybody for a second. Thank you. Give me a new composite. Control H. Thank you. La 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 la. Great. And you go on here. By the way, why are you that way? Pass through, not bitmap. How did I know it was different? Because the shape of the composites are different. The reason that you do all these little subcomposites is because this is just the arm. This is not the mouth, the face, none of that stuff. So these guys would actually have their own little place. Quit it, dude. Thank you. And we'll call you something weird like front arm. But yeah, that's yeah, I don't, because when I'm introducing people to the program, that's not day one. But it's like it's not as complicated as you think. And especially like when you look at this is to all the people who actually have really nasty node views and they look like what is that? Like noodle salad. Keeping a very clean node view is important because sometimes you have to send this to someone else. Joking with Lindsay that we have to have a job called the node view janitor. It's like he just cleans up everyone's like nodes there. So here's the deal with why you don't do this on your timeline. Let's see if I can do this. 0 collapses, 9 expands. Yeah, figuring all that out. It's like versus this. It's a little easier to see what you're doing. Now, hopefully, I didn't melt your brain too much there.
No, that was awesome.
Yeah, it's like one of those when you start catching it, you're like, whoa, this is really cool. And then you do really ridiculous things like I'm going to do something that's illegal-ish. I'm not going to animate with this, but I'll at least show you this really quick. Select that arm. Yes, great. Go up here. Awesome. Where are we? Are we still where we were? Tool properties. Yes, please. Great. Click, pull about a third of the way in. Click and pull about a third of the way in. Again, I'm going to do something illegal.
Mhm.
You're not supposed to ever put a deformer on a peg, but I'm about to. Ah, that's why it's there. Duh. Come over here. Let me adjust something really quick. Back to, this is why we record things. Come back over here and place this back to where it should be ish. All right. Now, what the hell is a deformer? Nothing.
Whoa, yes.
So yeah, in theory, if I did this right, yeah, this is why you don't actually attach them to have those placed in the wrong section. There we are. But yeah, there's like little rules of things you don't break or do. This is me breaking one of them. Seeing if I can get away with this. So yeah. But imagine one of the tricks that I saw someone do. What if the upper arm had a deformer going from the upper arm to the elbow, and then the lower arm had the same thing. So each arm would be able to not just be stuck with that flat art there. You really could distort it. And more advanced rigs have not only the middle part, but they also have the outer part. So if you wanted to do foreshortening, you could with no problem. So, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's like, it is definitely a rabbit hole. And the hardest thing about teaching harmony is knowing what it can do, but you can't show everything to beginners on day one.
Yeah.
Like the fact, this is what I like to show people. In the node library, the fact that there is a particle system built in.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's like stuff I never show.
So cool. Thanks so much for showing me.
You're quite welcome. Like, shout out to our sponsors. My lovely Toon Boom family that has been, and I literally say that it's like they hate when I call like one of my hates when I call him my boss, but AJ, hey, what's going on? I am blessed that not only I get to work with some really cool people, but people who know the program better than me, who I report to. So I'm like, it's like, by the way, guys, how do you do this again? So,
Oh, yes.
but yeah, there is a simple little rig thing there.
So cool. Thank you so much for showing me.
Yes, and we'll definitely have to team up and have to, what is that, have to bring you to the dark side.
Yes.
It's like one of those, when I watch people, I haven't done this in years. And shout out if anyone's interested in doing this along with me. I would have a webinar. I guess we can still call that. Have a webinar, and I would invite my friends who use Flash, and I'll say, I'm not going to say anything negative about Flash or Animate. It's hard for me to call it Animate because Toon Boom used to have Toon Boom Animate. That was before we switched everything over to Harmony. Anyway, so I would tell them, I'm not going to say anything negative about your program. Just show me how you do something in Flash, or how do you do something in Animate, and then I'll show you how you do the same thing inside of Harmony. So little fun stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah. Alrighty. So like I said, I wanted to at least show you that because it's like, okay, cool.
So cool.
Yeah, it's Harmony is a beast, and they keep coming up with cool stuff. Um, I don't know. We're on Harmony 23 right now. They did switch over to years. No, we're on Harmony 22. Excuse me. We're in Harmony 22 right now, but we're in year 23. So hopefully we'll hear something soon.
Yeah.
I would love to tell you that I know anything, but I don't. It's like I've as long as I've known Toon Boom, and again, love you all, Toon Boom. They're more secretive than Apple when they're doing stuff. So it's
Oh,
like, like, is when is it coming out? Well, we'll tell you. I'm like, I literally record stuff for you all. Well, why aren't you telling me? It's like, that's great. Anyway, I'm rambling, but yeah, this is last little thing I'll do here. Uh, let's see. Oh yeah, there is the dude. Where's that color? Oh, it has its own. So you can have multiple palettes. So when the person goes, yeah, he's not supposed to be blue. He's actually supposed to be some sort of green. Well, what kind of green? Not that green. This green. Okay, cool, great. And they're like, no, he's actually supposed to be blue again. So click and drag. This little eyedropper. All right, fine. We'll go back to normal.
oh, so easy.
Yeah, you got 5,000 frames. You can actually update them in a heartbeat. So.
Oh, amazing.
But yes, that is the quick little view into working with Harmony. And it's a really simple rig, believe it or not. Like I said, we didn't actually add in all the deformers that you would normally see on stuff. So,
Mhm.
all right. Well, Kira, this has been awesome, awesome, awesome.
Oh, yeah, it has. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. It's always a pleasure speaking with you.
You too.
Alrighty. We're going to sign off. This has been Tony Ross for the 2D Animation Virtual Summit, hanging out with Kira Kapetsky. And
Yay.
I'm sorry, I'm talking over you. You want to say bye or sign off with anything?
Uh, sure. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and thank you for having me on.
Awesome. Now, where can we actually see more of Chicken Nugget?
So you can see Chicken Nugget on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. If you just look up Chicken Nugget's name, even if you don't spell it correctly, if you look up just Chicken Nugget animation, it should come up.
I love that because yes, the name is spelled. It's an interesting spelling. So,
Yeah.
is it CHIKN or am I messing that up?
Yeah, it's CHIKN.
Okay, cool, awesome. All right, Kira, thank you again so much.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, signing off, y'all. Have a good one. All right. Okay, there it is. It's like, where the heck did my voice go? All right, so thank you, everyone. We have one other interview to do, and this is Tina Navratsky, and I'm going to dive directly into that. Hopefully, we fixed our streaming issue. I hope so. Let me dive in. Going into this now. Hey, this is Tony Ross with the 2D Animation Virtual Summit. And you're probably used to this by now, but yes, I am giddy as hell that I get to interview our next guest. Ms. Tina Navratsky. Did I get that right?
Very close. Good job.
Thank you. I'm working on it. Can you pronounce your name for me?
It's Tina Navratsky.
Okay, awesome. I will work on rolling my R's better. So, one, welcome.
Thank you.
Two, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and why do you think you're here? I was like, I know why you're here, but it's like, I'm curious. Why did I reach out and say, oh my gosh, I got to interview you?
I think that answer is pretty clear. So, hello, I'm Tina Navretsky. I've been working in the industry for 16 years now, almost 17. I am a 2D animator. I'm best known for classical frame by frame 2D animation, done the old school way. But most of my career, I've worked in video games, and I'm best known for my work on the video game Cuphead and Cuphead DLC. And that is why I'm here. So, probably.
That is awesome. And again, thank you for that. Um, like I said, I remember when I first saw that they were even attempting Cuphead, I was just like, holy crap, that's going to be awesome. Like who would do that? And just seeing just the final pieces of that are really incredible. Uh, I'm curious, and I didn't send you this, but I'm curious. What are your thoughts on, if you're allowed to say, what are your thoughts on the animation in the game versus the Netflix show?
So that's an interesting question. A lot of people ask about that because they kind of, I feel there was an expectation that the TV show would mimic the style of the video game exactly. But this was, again, and this is what I've heard, but you would have to ask the actual heads of Studio MDHR about that. What I've heard from Chad and Jared is that when they made that decision, they actually did want to have a distinct style for the TV show so that the game is its own thing. And if they do a TV show, that it has a bit of a different look. So it's easily distinguishable as two different pieces of art, I would say. So I understand also why they went with puppet animation. I know for a really long time, the two brothers at MBHR were pushing to try and get the TV show fully, frame by frame animated.
Right.
But it just seems budget constraints and so forth. But they did do a lot of awesome, keys. It kind of like, to me, the style was a bit Ren and Stimpy, which is also a nice throwback. And so when they did have those like glorious expressions, for Cuphead and Mugman and all the different characters that are not just like, just the model sheet and you have to stick to that, they would like push the expressions so much. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was really great. And what I really thought was nice, that even though the style of animation, I guess, was a mix of like 30s animation meets 90s, early 90s animation to me. The style of the TV show was very much 30s inspired. So, those teeny tiny episodes, which are, thematic, each one has a little theme to it, and they're all slapstick humor and very kind of lighthearted. I thought that was really great because that really mirrors what was going on in shorts in the 1930s. And it had that kind of a thematic feel, which I thought was really great. So I enjoyed the show. I thought it was great. But yeah, that's my thoughts there.
Very cool. For me, I know when, again, seeing the finished product and as far as the game, and then when I even heard them say they were going to do that, and I'm going, how? Because it's like, no, that's not going to be able to work. And it was interesting to see, because I did watch a couple of the episodes. I was like, okay, I see where you're going there. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. It's a lot better than what I thought it was going to be. Because you and I both know when they cut corners in 2D animation, it can show up very ugly.
Yes, definitely.
Awesome. So I have a question. I actually have a question I sent you, then I'm going to ask you a question that I didn't send you. So what, in your opinion, is the biggest misconception about people saying, well, I want to become an animator? What do you think the biggest misconception is?
um, I don't know. I think when I talk to young people who want to become animators, I feel like maybe there's not still enough talk about how it is actually acting. That not only is it the skill, of timing and movement and posing and so on, but you actually have to do a lot of acting, a lot of emotional work, and know body mechanics, know how to create a scene. And I think this is a thing that I am sad in a lot of animation programs out there, is that they don't have teaching theater, teaching improv to the actual animators to kind of beef up that part of the animation process. So more than a misconception, I would say it's like a little bit of a blind spot in the animation education to add more of that in. I was lucky enough to take, I was a theater kid. I don't know about shows, but like I love theater. I did it for years and years. And then when I took one, because I studied in a bunch of places, I didn't graduate anything, but I did 2 years at Sheridan College here in Canada, and they had acting for animation class. That was run by a theater person, a person who is an actor, who's a stage actor, a performer. And so it was really beautifully put together because, yes, it was acting, but definitely the teacher knew that we are animators. So he was trying to analyze animations for like, we analyzed the Iron Giant, for example, and then like, the emotions the mother is going through. And then we had a bunch of workshops and things and acting challenges to try and become better actors for animation, which I thought was great.
That is, I love asking these questions because it's like, oh, wow, I never thought about that. And you're right. I know that I've done a lot of doing a lot of training and things like that, whether it's cutout or traditional. And especially right now, since we don't have to, I think when I was teaching college, it was literally go check out a video camera to shoot your reference. And now that you can just grab a phone, there isn't enough of that where it's like, I'm going to have to actually create a new assignment now. So it's like where you have to go, okay, do this thing, bring it in and use it as a reference, that'd be kind of cool.
It is. And I think because we use ourselves a lot as reference in the industry, obviously, the glory days of like the old Disney studio where like they would hire actors to come in and do reference for you, you have to rely on yourself a lot more. And a lot of animators don't get, acting training. They don't get theater training. They don't get those like explanations of what to do with your body and how to face the audience and how to take pauses and when. And so I think that's really interesting that maybe animators after they graduate, if they didn't get that within school, can go out there and take an improv class or take an acting class just to become better animators that way.
Love that. Liz. Now, I do have an interesting question, as it were. Well, let me rephrase that. What book would you say needs to be on every animator's show? Yes, thank you. It was like words, one of those.
I'm sure you get the same titles over and over if you ask this question often, but I'm going to tell one that I personally advocate for and champion. And every time I give a workshop, I have to give credit where credit is due because my animation techniques have been taught to me by my mentor, Samantha Youssef, who is a Canadian 2D animator. She's absolutely brilliant. She had an online school for a long time called Studio Technique, and she wrote a book, and the book is insanely good, and it changed my life as an animator. And the book is called Movement and Form by Samantha Youssef. And this book, oh my God. So what it does is it breaks down how to draw and how to break down the human figure in order to become a better animator. And a lot of teachers would give me techniques and explain some very simple concepts to me, or like simple. We're supposed to be simple. For example, the line of action or the main line, the line of energy that defines a pose. And I thought I understood it, but I did not. And this book really goes through it so well. It explains everything so clearly. It creates a system that works for me and has made my animation stronger. And I think would work for many animators out there. And I can't say it's, the be all end all, because animators are very different. We all have different techniques, different approaches. But this worked for me. And I know that a lot of her students, including myself, are very, very happy with the training she's given us. So if you can't get to a Studio Technique course online by Samantha Youssef, I suggest Movement and Form as a book on your shelf.
I'm loving that, and it is going on my currently.
Good, do it.
Awesome. So this is probably a question that has been thrown your way Probably a lot. So your do you find like doing like that whole little 1930s, 1940s style, like, yes, I've always loved this, or well, here are the rules on this versus opposite of that. Uh, but I'm curious, what is your preference and style, like you personally?
Oh, that's a very good question because most people assume because I am known for Cuphead that the 1930s style is my favorite era. And I do enjoy it. Don't get me wrong, it's absolutely delightful. However, like my biggest geek out moment of animation styles is the kind of the first golden age of Disney. So Sword in the Stone, Jungle Book, Robin Hood, which is like my family's favorite movie, when the nine old men were animating, so Frank and Ollie and Milt Kahl and, John Lounsbury and all that stuff, like that is what gets me going. I love when there was the Xerox era, when like, the animations weren't perfectly inked. There's like a bit scratchiness to it because you could see the roughs. So yeah, so that really, really floats my boat. And I love animating in that style whenever I possibly can. Obviously, I am not them. So when I try and animate in that style, it's a little bit different. It's kind of my own. I'm currently working on a short film, and I hope that that is going to bring out my style, that I can be completely free. It's not for a client. It's my own project. I'm super excited about it. And so I will be trying to, do justice to all the great animators of the past that I admire and make my own kind of thing. And that's really cool. The film, by the way, is called Serenka, Legend of the Warsaw Mermaid. And it's about a mermaid that's a warrior. It's really cool.
I was going to ask you about that because I was like, so now here's a funny thing. Um, True story. Why did I actually reach out to you? It's because I saw some of the works on the mermaid. I was like, holy crap, that's gorgeous.
Oh my God. So it wasn't because of
Has
Cuphead.
nothing to do with Cuphead. I was like,
So I was wrong. I
so
was wrong.
the fact that you mentioned Cuphead, I was just like, oh wow, that's interesting. Yeah, but what about the mermaid?
Amazing.
And the
Thank
sad thing
you.
is, we're talking, and let me be completely transparent. I'm going, wait a minute, she's talking about Cuphead. This is the mermaid lady. Wait a minute. Let me go back. I'm going online and searching. Like, this is cool that she does Cuphead, but yeah,
Yeah.
let's talk about the
I
mermaid.
am the mermaid lady as well. So Mermaid Lady, yes. So this is my own project. I was very loud and proud about it because I was trying to do a crowdfunding campaign, which worked, which is super exciting. I'm actually going to be on a panel talking about crowdfunding at Taffy coming up in November, which is really fun because we invited a few people that did it successfully, and I guess we're going to ask us what the magic sauce is to make it
Yes.
work for you. So I did that. And also, I was at a festival in the Netherlands, and I met James Baxter for the second time in my life. And I was, fangirling as we all do. And James was lovely, and I told him about The Mermaid. And he was super supportive, was super, generous, with saying that, this is a great project, you need to do it. And so I emailed him once the campaign was there, and he shared it on his social media.
Oh
Can you
wow.
believe it, Tony? James Baxter shared my animation. I died 1,000 deaths. It was insane. It was like the highlight of my career.
That is too cool.
It is. It is
Yeah,
too cool.
when you have those little moments like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. So that was great.
So, because I'm actually doing I was blessed with the task because we talk about a lot during the summit, but Tony White had asked me to help him with his crowdfunding thing. So, what would you say? And again, a question I didn't send you, so I'm curious. What's the hardest thing about crowdfunding?
Oh my God, everything is so hard about it. It's awful. It's an exhausting experience. I mean, there's pros and cons, obviously. Like, it is extremely rewarding once it's over, but when you're in it,
Yes.
it's a little bit of hell on earth because it's like a second job, really. You
Mm.
have to, I'm not an influence like the young people who do all the media thingies very regularly. I'm not very good at maintaining that. I'm not very I don't enjoy it. I don't like enjoy having a following and like doing the videos and the things. So I had to force myself to do that. And you have to record videos, you have to show who you are and convince people, because people usually don't just back the project. Sometimes they do, but mostly they back the person behind the project. Like if they think that you're passionate and they think that, like, wow, this is a person who's really into this and really cares, showing yourself to the audience is an important part than just showing the project. So I went to, like, I scheduled the campaign during a festival. So I was like, during the festival, I was, forcing people to donate. I became like super brutal towards the end. At the beginning, I was like, oh, well, if you think you can like give a small donation, like, give me money. I was just becoming crazy. And the other thing that I personally did was, and this is something that actually I went on Indiegogo, which is a very good platform. They send you a person to kind of like tell you, oh, like, these are things that you should consider if you haven't considered them, which is really lovely of them. And one of them was like, reach out to every single human you've ever met. Like, it could be your primary school teacher, it could be anybody you know, and write them an email and tell them about the campaign. And she says it usually takes 3 emails for a donation to happen. So I had like an Excel sheet of like past coworkers, childhood friends, family, even acquaintances from festivals. And I would like every day email 10 or 15 people, telling them about the project and then brutally asking them to give me money, even if it's a small donation. And then people surprise you. And well, that way also I reconnected with so many people from my past, like professors from my first university ever, and they're like, oh my God, I totally remember you. And like, what a great project. And then, we have this lovely conversation and you reconnect. And it was absolutely delightful. It was wonderful. So that was great. It was exhausting on the other hand and absolutely terrible. And if you ask me if I'll ever do it again, the answer is probably no. So there you have it.
Awesome. I was telling someone that I think at the end of the day, every year the summit ends up with a theme. I didn't start with one, but the one animal that keeps popping up over and over is basically marketing. And that's the one thing that I think for the most part, most animators don't worry about or do. And so, like, even with the crowdfunding thing, it's like because a lot of us, we think either our creation or it looks, this is going to be awesome, this is going to be pretty, and everyone's going to love it. And it's like, and they're going to flock in and support it. And it's like, no.
That's not how it works. I was just talking to another animator who, has been working on a short film for longer than I have. So they had more footage to share. They had a kind of meter almost base, and they decided to crowdfund. And they have a huge following on Instagram and so on. And they thought, oh, should be easy. We'll just click like start campaign and then that's it. And I'm like, no, honey, like it was work. Like you have to, be at it every single day. Until the last week, I didn't know if I was going to make it. Also, I left myself not a month. I gave myself a month and a half. I think a month is just not long enough if you're not like, super famous at doing crowdfunders and everybody knows you. And so they only decided to do it a month and they didn't make it, and they had a bigger following than me. They had more footage to show. The project is, wonderful as well. But it didn't make it in the end. So I don't know what like sometimes it just feels like you think it should like be a huge success, but it isn't. And then sometimes, things that you don't think will take off do take off. So you never know kind of like the machine that is the internet and that is people, what is going to make them tick, right? So yes, I feel very lucky that I made it. And I have some money to pay my amazing team to work on the mermaid short.
I always feel like maybe it's me and it's kind of almost a crapshoot, but again, maybe it's, do you already have a following? Do you already have this thing? It feels like animation and maybe comic books. It's almost like, well, you're just doing this by yourself, right? So you can just take some time. Why do I need to pay you? That's an almost, it feels like that would be the stereotypical thought that people have.
I guess so. I think people are becoming a bit more aware, though, at least with animation, that it takes more people to get it done. Especially like, obviously I'm not a voice actor, and I have like male characters in my film. So even just telling people, we need to pay the voice actors, and we need to pay for a soundtrack, and we need to pay for editing, and we need to pay, for sound effects and VFX and all that kind of stuff. I think they understand that better. But I guess for comic books, it must be still a very hard trope to kind of come over. It's like, oh, because you just draw the whole thing yourself and
Right.
that's it, right? Yeah,
So yeah, it's like that little fun aspect of not knowing
the
what.
process.
Yeah, the process is like how much stuff is really involved.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this other weird question. Speaking of that, uh, given the advances and the availability of, let's say, software, technology, as well as the current state of our animation industry, there has never been a better time in the history of animation for 2D animators than to put their own products out than there is right now. True or false, and why?
Well, I don't know. I think we live in very interesting times. On the one hand, technology is threatening artists quite a bit right now, and I'm not going to get into that whole conversation because that's for an entire interview on its own.
Yes.
But on the other hand, as I just said, even though I kind of moaned and whined a bit about the crowdfunding, for the first time ever, we have the ability to reach a global audience so easily. And what's incredible to me is that because of that, and because of platforms like Kickstarter and Indiegogo, and the rise, for example, like I saw the rise of indie gaming because I come from a video game background. When I was starting out, like there were small studios, but generally speaking, it was all about the big AAA games, and that was it. And then slowly, through Steam and other platforms, there's this ride of indie creators, and suddenly the gaming industry was flooded with these new stories, because it used to be that the same stories were kind of told over and over and over again. But suddenly you have creators who just with like 2 or 3 people could make something that's extremely popular and then get it out there to an audience. And I think that's also what's happening for animators, is that yes, times are tough for 2D animation, especially. There was this kind of fall when Pixar took off and 3D became really popular, at least in the West. I'm not talking about the East because that's a whole different story. They always love 2D animation. But here, when I was starting out, like people told me not to do it. They're like, don't do 2D animation, don't do it. You're not going to find a job. You're not going to be able to pay your bills. And I was stubborn or stupid or both, and decided that no, this is what I love, and this is what I'm going to keep doing. And now I see a rise of interest. I see a rise of like good quality 2D animation coming out. Features coming out, like when Klaus came out, I was super excited, and there's this kind of interest that's coming back. And I think weirdly, because of the threat of AI, like artisanal animation is going to become even more exciting. So like stop motion, hand-drawn animation, anything that you could see the human hand is going to be more appealing, because we will know that there's a person behind it, and I think it will have more soul, and people will have a surge of interest in it. So I can't say if it's the best or the worst time for 2D animators on this planet. Maybe not the best, but on the other hand, I feel like there is so much room for independent creativity and independent stories, and more so than ever, like human stories, the stories that you want to tell, that maybe the mass market doesn't want to hear. I think there's room for that. And the way you can do it is by, just getting like-minded people on board through the power of the internet, right? So, yeah.
Bonus. All right, I have one last question. And
Sure.
I'm definitely curious on this. What genre do you think is missing from 2D animation? What do we see? What do we need to see more of in 2D animation?
Oh God, I just want to see more 2D animation. I can't pick a genre. I want more everywhere. Like, I'm such a huge fan of it. I want more 2D games. I want more 2D television shows that are like drawn frame by frame. I don't know if you saw Green Eggs and Ham, but I want more of that. I want more of the beautifully classically animated frame by frame animation. I want more 2D features. I want more 2D video clips for like music. I want it everywhere, man. Like I don't want to pick a genre. I just want more.
That is awesome. And thank you for that.
No worries.
Well, Tina, thank you so much again for your time. This has been awesome. Got to learn. I got to learn. Oh wow, you actually do stuff other than the mermaid. That's kind of cool.
Yes, but the mermaid is the most important. I want you guys to follow that. I hope you'll post links for it. Syrenka, Legend of a Warsaw Mermaid. We have a website, we have social media because I was forced to, and I still update it every now and then. And it's really exciting because we got one grant, the Ontario Arts Council grant, on top of the crowdfunding campaign. So now, like, we're really kind of like, deep breath. Everything should go well when it comes to production, and we are just wrapping up pre-production, and soon we can get into like the meaty gritty stuff of animating it. So please, if you do post the links, follow us, and go all other types of 2D animation, including Cuphead.
Awesome. Well, thank you again. This has been Tony Ross for the 2D Animation Virtual Summit, hanging out with Tina Zranowski. I hope I got that right. Closer.
Very good job.
Thank you. Say bye, Tina.
Bye.
So, wait a minute. You did a rap thing in the same style? What was
yes, in the 1930s style. So I got this random call. It was last minute, and it was from a producer of Lil Yachty's concert. And he's like, hey, somebody told me that you animate in the 1930s style. And I'm like, yes, I do. He's like, okay, great. Because I had done a music video for Drake as well before that, a Knife Talk. I did like 2 little shots in it with 1930s characters. And so he's like, okay, so Lil Yachty has this voicemail from Drake, and he wants a 1930s owl to be talking in Drake's voice. And this is going to be the beginning of the concert for his tour that just ended, I think, this summer. And I was like, okay, great. How long is the animation? 2 minutes of frame by frame traditional animation.
Oh, wow.
How many weeks do you think we had? 3 weeks to do full frame by frame animation. I'm like, okay, first of all, 2 minutes is way too long. So we managed to cut it down to 1:30, which is still a ridiculous amount of footage.
Yes.
And then I called up my friend Joseph Coleman, who also worked on Cuphead on the original game. And I was like, Joseph, you got to save me. We got to do this. So we legitimately did not sleep and pumped out this frame by frame owl. Joseph did the character design for the owl. I did the animatic, and we were just sending it to the production team, and Lil Yachty was signing off on it, and we got it from rough animatic to full color, completely finished, lip sync done 1 day before the deadline. I was like, yeah. So we did it. And so it was really cool. There's footage on YouTube where I can see, the owl on that concert, and it was really nice. It's really cool. Yeah, it's Drake just talking, and the owl is animated by me and Joseph. It's a really good one.
That is incredibly cool and crazy. I'm like, I'm thinking even cut out. I was like, wait a minute, we're doing it how quickly? So we're doing traditional.
Frame by frame, all hand drawn, and then cleanup too, because we did the roughs, and then we did cleanup as well. So, and color. We told them it's going to be in black and white though, because I'm not doing more than just shades of gray. That's it.
Brilliant. Awesome. I can feel no sleep in our eyes. Yeah. It's always fun. It's either between budgets and timelines, people have no clue. I saw something yesterday where they were asking for this company was very proud of their mascot, and it's supposed to be like a Marvel superhero looking thing. And yep, can you hear me? That's cool. It's supposed to be this superhero thing. And I was thinking one of the things I need to do is someone doing the podcast, but I need to start bringing up the things that show up on Upwork in different places like that where they say, yes, what was it? It was a 3-month contract, and you're supposed to be working on this character, working on the character for the 6-page comic book as well as this animation. And I'm going, there has to be a typo here, because they're like, well, yeah, you have to submit, this is a solid offer for 3 months of work. And this, I think even on the amount of work was like crazy, but to say that's for 3 months. And then it had a $200 price tag. And I was like, you mean 200K? So it was like, wait, what? Anyway. But yeah, I feel like I need to start doing just a series on just posting those, and maybe having fun with it, but at the same time, hopefully educating the great unwatched or the non-animators, non-artists to what things are. Anyway, I have stuff to give away. If I can do this, where? That is not what I was looking for. Where did it go? There we are. All right, so day 3 winners. We're giving away a annual license of Toon Boom Harmony to Shaquem Wynn. I hope I'm pronouncing that correct. And a annual license of Toon Boom Storyboard Pro to Don Jeffrey. And again, if I'm mispronouncing that, please forgive me. We still have a lot more to give away. Today is Wednesday. We got still a lot of stuff to give away for Thursday and Friday. We'll probably be giving away the most stuff on Friday. I'm going to see if I can. I was trying to do it today, but we're going to end up start giving away some Wacom stuff tomorrow. But these are our Toon Boom winners. Again, we'll be shooting out emails, giving you updates. What's happening tomorrow? Who's talking tomorrow? Let's see. I can tell you that. Wait, I think today is Wednesday, right? I think I'd actually figured that out. There was an email. Where did your email go? Alrighty. So, yeah, we're sending out, or excuse me, tomorrow we have a lot more people to chat with. I know on Friday we have I'm trying not to get my days mixed up. So give me one moment, and I'll at least say this out loud. Okay, great. So Thursday, we are opening up with my friend and colleague, Miss Lindsay Noller. I think this is an interview. One, Lindsay knows way more about rigging than I do. So I actually was doing some rigging in front of my professor, basically, which is, no pressure. So there's Lindsay Noller, my friend Ginger Tantavitong, head of Asifa South. I believe that's correct her name. There's probably a more official name. Laren DeJarnett, works for some small company called Disney or some junk. Nancy Beeman, and Nancy, shouting out to you. You as well as Sharon Coleman. I kept messing up people's spellings of their names. I did triple check to make sure I did not misspell your names on your titles and lower thirds in the videos. So Nancy Beeman, who has several books out on 2D animation and has this awesome career in 2D animation, has recently retired and started doing comics, which are still adorable, which I still want to see animated. And Michael Atneal. Michael does character layout for something called, is it The Simpsons? One of those things. Oh, by the way, and shout out to Wacom for actually setting that up. They were like, hey, do you have Mike Atneal on your show? I was like, no, I don't. He's like, yeah, we'll introduce you. I was like, thank you. You're awesome. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. You get to see, he didn't get to share anything official, but especially in the full interview, he is actually drawing, he's playing around with a walk cycle and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. Meanwhile, I'm about to sign off for today, I think. Let's see. I got a congrats. That's cool. What else do I have? What else popped up? There needs to be more behind the scenes of how the job of animation is done. I remember seeing a video clip of the animators working on SWAT Cats TV show. Yeah, it's pretty much one of the reasons I actually even started doing the summit is because I didn't see enough of that. And they'll do behind the scenes a lot of times, but it's not for animators. It's more of, as my friend in late mentor, Mr. Lou Hertz used to say, he said, it's for the great unwashed. They're like, here's how to draw so-and-so. Like, that's cute, but can you tell me, how long did y'all have to work on the episode? Or for me, what line weights? That's my favorite question. What line weights are y'all using on this particular thing and stuff like that? La, 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 la. Can't wait for Laren. Yeah, Laren is awesome. Laren and Laren, Lamont, Ollie. I have several, probably a good 5 or 6 of my friends. The full interviews, which you'll see on the playlist next week. Like I said, Lamont's is 2.5 hours. I think Ollie's is maybe 90 minutes, but yeah, our typical we talk forever, and hopefully we'll actually start doing the doing more stuff on a podcast. I definitely got to get definitely have to get DeMarcus back on a project, as well as just off the cuff stuff that we're doing is usually fun. But yeah, I'm going to run for the day. Wait, did we actually end early? Am I missing something? Huh. We're earlier than, nope, it's actually after 4. Never mind. Yes, we're late. So anyway, this has been Tony Ross for the 2D Animation Virtual Summit. Hope you all have had a ball. Please make sure you share this with other people. If you haven't already, either share or donate for Tony Wett's project, Drawtastic. If you want to see what it's about, you should be able to go to, on your iPhone or on your Android, and download the Drawtastic app. It's free to download. But see exactly what we're talking about. And I think it's really worthwhile. Share this information with other people. I think maybe it's bold of me to think so. I would like to think that a lot of y'all helped make that large jump, because it was only 1,400 yesterday. Right now it's getting closer to 1,800. We still got to get to 3K. So thank you for your help on that. And yeah, let's see if we can make that happen. Meanwhile, gonna sign off. Have a good one.